Welcome back to Open. Yesterday's big Super Tuesday winners were Hillary Clinton for the Democratic Party and Donald Trump for the Republican Party. What does this mean for the other candidates? Do they stand a chance in the general elections? Here to discuss this and more is political commentator Mariah Starr. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be back here.
Thank you. So, quick question. What is Super Tuesday? Does it have a theme song and a cape?
No, it's not Superman. Although I wish it were the case.
Right.
It's a set of states, about 11 states, voting simultaneously so that each party can wrap up their nomination process quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever you have a drawn-out process, the candidate gets weakened by all the debating and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to have a conclusion that's swift and final, and so they can rally behind the candidate at the end.
So what did these results mean then? Hillary Clinton sweeping the South that they didn't expect, and then, of course, Donald Trump winning basically the Republican nomination.
Basically, it's not quite yet, but Donald Trump is about like 1/5 of the way there. And so what Clinton has demonstrated is her ability to capture the majority of the coalition that Obama was able to capture. So women, minorities, so Asians, Latinos, African Americans, and young people. Sanders has the young people behind him and the progressive behind him. So Clinton was able to get the South. And that explained her domination of like Virginia, Georgia. Trump, well, he's drawing on what you might call the authoritarian element of Republican politics. People who are afraid of immigrants, who are afraid of terrorism, afraid of everything, actually. Afraid of Ebola. You know, you name it, they're afraid of it. So they want a strongman like Trump to control this stuff.
Okay. So what states were voting on Super Tuesday?
So you have Massachusetts, Texas, Virginia, Georgia, Minnesota, Vermont, Alaska, Alabama, Oklahoma. I mean, essentially you got the Midwest, the South, and the Northeast represented. It's a huge cross-section of the entire electorate, which usually breaks down Northeast Democratic, South Republican. So what you have here is the real test of can the two candidates, Clinton and Trump, establish a coalition that's broad enough and deep enough to represent their parties? And the answer is yes, they've been able to do that.
But given what we saw last night, if the two actually do face off for the big race, I don't know how to phrase this question, but like how do the two compete in terms of like their broad coalition then? Because I saw that the record numbers came out for the Republican vote. Record numbers were actually at the polls yesterday. So what does that mean?
It's record numbers in the primary.
Okay.
So the primary is not the general election. Back in 2008, you had record numbers on the Democratic side because it was exciting. There was a contest. It was intense. I mean, they were like, it was like sports for them. Like, let's go get it. Here, you don't have it on the Democratic side because you have a Democratic president. You have the heir, essentially, to the president. You have they're falling in line behind the heir apparent. The Democrats don't do that usually, but they're doing it this time. The Republicans are usually falling in line. They're not doing that. They're having a civil war within the party. So come November, you're going to see probably the same coalition. During elections for the president, you always have high turnout. So you're going to have the coalition that elected Obama coming out. Young people, women, Latinos, African Americans, Asians, they're going to be coming out in force, especially if Trump is on the Republican ticket, because they're incredibly afraid of Trump. And so you're going to be seeing probably historic voter turnout with November, which again, this is a watershed election potentially.
That's pretty encouraging on that end when you say it like that there will be record people actually coming out to vote to voice their opinions about who they want to lead them. But is there still the other side of the coin with if people actually don't and if they feel disenfranchised enough not to come out?
Yeah, that's a big problem. So the disenfranchisement will likely affect two groups of people. One is the young people who are really out there for Sanders. Like, they're tweeting Sanders, they're taking pictures with him. So if Clinton's the nominee, they're not going to vote. And that will take away a large part of the electorate that Obama wrote on. Likewise, on the Republican side, if you have establishment Republicans, formerly led by Jeb Bush, but now Rubio, Kasich, they're trying to go for that northeastern Republican type. They're like, we don't want to be represented by a racist, xenophobic, authoritarian strongman. Like, no way. You might actually have the Republican Party split in two.
Okay.
And one of the analysis is it already is two parties in one. It just hasn't actually split yet. So you're looking forward to a convention fight for the Republicans. This is going to be an amazing journey. It is going to be super.
It sounds like celebrity deathmatch over
It
here.
is, yes. It's like, it's a reality show. I mean, that's why Trump is so amazing in this race. He's brought reality show logic to a presidential race for the first time ever. And so you're seeing the extremes of society on display there. It's amazing.
I was watching last week tonight with John Oliver, and he actually did a whole segment about Donald Trump and about how we're seeing the mascot, the celebrity of reality television, and as is going on, we have to be able to see beyond the mascot. And do you think that we're actually going to be able to see that, or are people still going to be enamored of who they think he is as opposed to who he really is?
See, that's the thing. Trump is just a figurehead. If he's gone, someone else will replace him. They will always be mascot. People, the authoritarian people who want Trump, they're not able to see past the celebrity. Other people are. The rest of the Republican Party is. The rest of the Democratic Party is. But what you have here is the impact of celebrity on politics. We've seen this before. Ronald Reagan, Jesse Ventura. You might say Al Franken as well. But, I mean, you have a history of celebrities capturing
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Exactly, California, you got it. That's what we're seeing now, and it's so fundamentally new. We don't know how to deal with it, honestly. And so one of the problems here is we have both the celebrity factor. The authoritarian factor is very important because Trump has been compared to Adolf Hitler for a good reason. Tapping into the same emotion, the same fear, the same threats, promising to exclude very specific groups because they're so intensely afraid of Muslims and Mexicans. I mean, we're in a watershed election because of the potential of a major party candidate to introduce fascism into the U.S. And that's what will drive out the vote in November, to prevent that.
So before you were talking about the split in the Republican Party and people in the Democratic falling in line. Do you really think that young people who are feeling the burn, as they say, really won't vote for Hillary, that they just won't come in at all? Or do you think that they're scared enough of Trump that they would, well, it's better than nothing kind of deal?
That's a real open question. And honestly, I don't know. Because this is such a unique dynamic here. You have young people who say, burn or bust. If it's not Bernie Sanders, we're not voting at all. And historically, young people have not voted. They've been a very small portion of the electorate. Obama was able to get them out marginally better. But the other four parts of the electorate, women, Asians, Latinos, African Americans, that's the bulwark. That's the coalition that will come out to vote no matter what. So if young people go down a bit, that will be tragic, but it won't cost the Democrats the election.
And do you think the Republicans who are not for Trump are willing to cross those party lines and say, well, either vote for Hillary or not vote at all?
Yes, they actually are already saying that. They're already admitting, you have establishment Republicans saying, if Trump is the nominee, I will hold my nose and vote for Clinton. It's come to that level.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty incredible.
It's a watershed election we're facing. So this is history in the making. Right
It is
now.
indeed.
So pay attention.
Super Tuesday. So Super Tuesday was yesterday. We have those in, but there are other caucuses coming up.
Yes, there are caucuses, and the word caucus means people come together. They don't vote in silent. They might, but they get together and they organize. So whoever has the best organizational capacity, like Sanders, might win those. So we're looking at states coming up that actually match more Sanders' strengths. California, Oregon. I mean, Sanders won Colorado and Minnesota. I mean, these are the areas where his strengths are apparent. So most of the states yesterday were Clinton's strengths, except for Vermont.
Well, we expected that. Right?
Exactly. Sanders is a senator from Vermont.
Right.
So what we're looking at now is in the next few weeks, like Ohio, Florida, we might be seeing Sanders actually able to capture the states that favor his appeal, the youth vote and the progressive liberal vote.
Well, I hope that works out.
I do too.
I wish we could continue our conversation, but we have to take a break. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
The Bronx Park Speak Up is an annual community networking conference for park and environmental stakeholders. It gives its attendees the chance to learn about government and non-government resources for park spaces. Bronx correspondent Kadia Lloyd Knight has more on the story.
The Bronx Park Speak